too. I thought you were a massive night owl. That was my impression of you.
I'm a massive night owl. Yeah, I could easily, but I drive Ben mad and if he's not here, I would stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning and then regret my choices when the kids are like at 6, like, come on, mummy. Like, oh, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, that's hard when you're a parent, that gradual creep of sleep deprivation. The balance of, like, trying to have your own time and not have sleep exhaustion.
Yeah, it is. I like having my own time. And I do really well until, like you say, it's a creep of, like, tiredness, and then I'll need a day where I'm like, I cannot go up until 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Ben, take these children away from me. Which is all my own fault. Hello, welcome back to the Bookcast Club. I'm Jenny, coming to you from Norwich in the UK, and I'm joined by Sarah, who is in Lutruwita, Tasmania. We are recording at 7:30 in the morning for Sarah, so she is maybe getting coffee. I don't know, she's walked off on me. She's here.
Water.
She is here.
Water, can you hear me?
She's shouting water.
Water.
Yeah, I can hear you. We're here today to do part 2 of our Wicked Book v Film episode. So this is Wicked for Good versus part 2 of the book. We did Wicked part 1. Feels like ages ago, but I think we only put that episode out in April. We've done this one in a more timely manner.
Yeah, I really
actually doing it when the film came out.
I really thought it was like a year ago. I was having like a year ago today vibes, but it's actually not true. 6 months ago. Feels like a year.
Well, this is where I've had my back to front rant, because we've recorded our like final episode of the year before we recorded this one, and I definitely ranted in the last one that I realised that I've read Wicked twice this year.
Yeah, well,
and for a book that I didn't massively enjoy,
I think you actually talked about that
3 times.
I think you actually talked about that in the bonus episode.
Who knows?
Did a lot of recording this week.
Sorry, patrons, you might have heard that 3 times.
Jenny's upset.
Who knows at this point?
I mean, the episodes were your idea, Jen. I did tell you could stop halfway through. So I read the first half of Wicked. I read until the end of the first movie, and then I read the second half only when the second film came out.
I mean, I could have done that because I basically had forgotten the second half, so I definitely should have done it the way you did. But what I did was read it for a 3rd time, listening to it we were going to record this episode last week, so I ended up listening to it at 3 times the speed. I've never done that before.
Wow.
If you concentrate really hard, you can do it. I was like, wow. I was taking it in, but I did have to make sure I wasn't doing anything too taxing at the same time. So yeah, it wasn't a quality read through, but it was a good reminder of the plot.
Your 3rd run through, though, I think you're alright.
yeah, I think we're okay. So this is part 2. What we're gonna run through today, I think we'll do a summary of the last episode. I've written a summary up of what we discussed, because I don't think we're going to delve back into some of the stuff we discussed last time. We're going to share our thoughts on the film, and then we're literally going to jump into comparing it with the book.
Yes, because I think a lot of for me at least, my feelings about the book are consistent the whole way through, so
the same. And we've discussed it before on the pod, so they're not going to have changed.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. That's why it's the 3rd read through, because we also did a book club episode of this a couple of years ago with Chris, because it was one of his favourite books.
Yeah, we did Chris's favourite book, so we've not had to do those for a while. Where we need to do Bells, where we read 2 of our fellow co-hosts' favourite books, and Chris was on the pod at the time, and Wicked was one of his. So yeah, this is why we're on the 3rd run through.
I DNF'd it that time, and then I had to pick it up again for this. That's why I only read it in 2 halves.
Chunks.
Yeah.
She's finally finished. Yeah. She's done it in
3
stages.
Sessions. 2 years or something.
In my notes, I have very clearly written here now, because I've learnt my lesson, we will spoil the film and the book. I didn't say that for Frankenstein until I'd well and truly already shared the whole plot of the book. This is your warning. Spoilers galore. So, if you've not read the book and you want to, If you've not seen the musical and you want to, if you've not seen the films and you want to, don't listen to this episode yet. Come back to it afterwards. All right. I'm going to try and summarise our first episode so we don't need to delve back into these sins. So, we recapped the book in general as a much darker, more political and more philosophical take on a retelling of The Wizard of Oz. It follows Elphaba's early life in Shiz, the oppression of sentient animals and her growing activism. We contrasted this with the musical and film, which are very loose adaptations that prioritise emotion, friendship and character over the book's dense political world building. The first film, ends with defying gravity, mirroring the stage production. We discussed how and why the versions differ. The musical deliberately condenses and restructures and simplifies Maguire's narrative to create a more accessible and musical friendly story. And we compared the key characters, so Elphaba, who's far more morally grey and politically driven in the book, versus a more heroic and misunderstood character in the film. Glinda is far more flawed in the novel and much more comedic on stage. She's also much more of a central character in the film and the musical, which she isn't really in the book. She's not actually in the book that often.
No.
And supporting characters like Bock, Nessa Rose, Fiero and the Wizard get more character building in the book, obviously. So like I said, thematically the book is much darker and more political, more morally ambiguous, while the musical centres on friendship, loyalty and a much clearer good versus evil dynamic. We highlighted some of the key scene comparisons, so Elphaba's birth, her time at Shiz University, Dr. Dillamond and his demise is very different he dies in the book, but he doesn't in the film. How she meets the wizard and the defying gravity moment. And in the notes I've written, we've touched on why Wicked works so well as a musical, but I think we talked about this quite a bit actually as to why it works well as a musical, especially Stephen Schwartz's idea that songs function really well as character building soliloquies, which is why he felt Wicked would work really well as a musical. So yeah, that's the general gist of the first episode, and like Sarah said, I don't think our feelings and thoughts on the tone of the book are going to have changed now that we're going to discuss the second part. But shall we dive into the film? Me and Sarah haven't spoken about this.
No.
I've deliberately not said anything just to keep this, a surprise for everyone.
Well, we also talk so much at this time that we're like, well, do I really need to speak to Jen at this moment? No.
Yeah, let's just save it. So, what did you think of the second film?
Really liked it.
Did you?
Yeah, really liked it. I actually liked it a lot more than the first film. I thought it was really, really good.
Did you?
Yeah.
That is wild.
So I know it's a very controversial, that's dramatic, but the second film has mixed reviews compared to the first one. I think the first one is more universal. I thought it was a much better film, I'm going to be honest.
Interesting.
Yeah. What did you think?
Well, I am going to have to keep us on track because I was very, very disappointed.
Oh, really?
I was. Good that we say something different. So I loved the first film so much. It was one, I think I said in the last episode, it doesn't often happen when you have a cinema experience that you love so much that I went to see it 2 or 3 times. It's a 5-star film for me. We've got the Blu-ray. The kids are obsessed with the soundtrack. And I just don't think it could have lived up to that, no matter what, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was disappointed. Mainly for me, I just didn't really feel like it worked that well as a film. And actually, while I was watching it, I remember not being totally enamoured by the second half of the stage production. Like, I couldn't really remember a huge amount of the stage production, and I think that's because, for me, like, the pinnacle is defying gravity, and from there I kind of feel it goes kind of downhill. And yeah, if you read reviews of both the stage musical and the film, I'm not the only one who feels that way. However, 2 weeks on from watching the film, I am really desperate to see it again, and I'm going to go see it with my mum and take Robin when we go and stay over for Christmas. And I think I'll benefit from a second viewing. I think tonally they take a massive shift, which is normal, like it is a musical, so it very much, the first film finishes where the first act finishes in the musical, and then you come into the second half of the musical and it's very tonally dark, and you know it's going to be that way, you know what's happening, that's the plot. But yeah, it was just a very big shift in tone, and I was like, oh, none of this is very happy actually. And Glinda's really sad, and it's just really sad. Yeah, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's not, I need to hear that perspective, because I think I'll go and watch it a second time, and I'll probably enjoy it a lot more.
Hopefully I can convince you somewhat. So context-wise, you know the musical quite well, right? You've seen it multiple times? Right?
I know, I've seen it once, and we're talking like 12 years ago, so actually I don't know it that well. Okay. Well enough that I know the story, essentially. And
I've never seen the musical, and I didn't read the book before going to see it, so I didn't know. I read the first half of the book and then went to see the first film, and then I saw the second film, and then I read the second half of the book, so I didn't know the story at all. And yeah, I really, really liked it for multiple reasons. So I'm watching it more as a film viewer, not someone who like knows the musical at all. And I liked the first one, but for me as a like film viewer, I guess it was a little bit too like kind of quirky and fun in places. And there's elements of the first film that I honestly just didn't find that interesting. So, like, for example, the whole thing of her being in shiz. So in the first film, a big part of it is that she's at university and that she, like, doesn't fit in very well. This is Elphaba, obviously, because she's green. And there's so many beats in that film that I just feel like I've seen before, like someone being ostracised at university, like the dance scene at university where she's, like, left out. They just feel very familiar. Like, so I liked the film, but I wasn't, like, enamoured by those scenes, you know what I mean? There's just, like, someone being ostracised at a dance, like it's kind of versions of Carrie that we've seen, you know, constantly. Yeah. Whereas the second film felt much more original to me, so it felt that I didn't have that feeling. There's quite a lot of elements of the first film that I just felt like I've seen before in other films. And I know it's darker, but it felt more adult to me, so, like, there's a lot more conflict. And the things that everyone's going through. It feels like they're only set a year apart, but it felt like a lot longer, actually. And I really liked the conflict between the three main characters, so Fiyero, Elphaba, and Glinda. I just really, really liked the way that their complexities were portrayed. I thought they actually did a really good job of making it quite deep, even though it's not it's a musical, you know. But they're quite dark and they're quite deep, and I thought, particularly with Glinda, they portrayed her, the complex way that she feels about Elfie and how she feels about Fiyero and all that kind of thing. I just thought it was done really, really well, so I was really impressed with how layered it was, I think, emotionally. Yeah. And I know it was a lot darker, but I guess as someone who isn't attached to the musical, I just enjoyed that more. You know, and I'm not a huge musical person anyway, so the lighter song element of it, I was like, oh great, we've done away with that. Thank God, we're back.
It's been shorter, less singing.
Yeah. So I just really like the emotional depth of it. I just thought it was really well done.
Well, we'll talk more. I've got complex feelings about it. Do you think it worked in two parts?
Yeah, it's fine. Like, it's the musical's like so strongly in two parts that I see why they did it. I think it's totally fine because they're trying to keep it quite close to the musical, and they're trying to make it feel like a musical. So I think to have the film in two halves makes a lot of sense as a choice, because it makes it it just keeps it. Because they made quite a lot of choices in filming to make it feel more like a musical. Like they sung it live, for example, and the way that it's shot, often it's very clearly designed to feel like you're watching a play, so I think it's in keeping with that.
And that's a good point, and actually that's probably something to remember when you watch it is that you are watching the adaptation of the musical, not of the book. And the bits you really like, I really liked, and I think for me, I guess I just wanted more. I'd have loved a TV series where they just expanded on everything a little bit more, but like you say, that then can't be a musical, otherwise that would be incredibly irritating.
The film is a film of the musical, it's not a film of the book. I think.
And I listened to, I've said before that I really like Mark Commode on this podcast, and I listened to his take on it because I was like, I don't know if he's going to have enjoyed it. And actually he was very measured about it, and he said actually probably the best way to watch it is to literally watch them back to back and watch it how it's meant to be seen, as a musical in 2 parts, that you have a little break in between and then you watch the second half. And I can kind of agree with that.
Yeah, you could do it over 4 nights or something, first half of the first film.
Yeah.
That would be
I
fun.
did watch the first film before I went, literally the night before. I think my expectations were just too high. I was ready. Right, should we touch on the performances?
Yeah,
I really want to
please.
talk about one person in particular, but let's talk about Cynthia Erivo first. I didn't feel like she was the main character in this second one.
Yeah, neither did I. It's difficult because, first of all, let's say that the book and the film are so different in the second half.
We should have said it's like completely different.
The first half of the book and the first half of the musical / film are different, but the main beats are still there, and it's more kind of the focus points are different, but the story is the same. Whereas the second half of the book and the second half of the film are like completely different.
Totally different.
So because they pivot the perspective so much, all the parts that Elphaba, she's kind of gone because they completely changed her story so much that she kind of disappears. So
she definitely takes second fiddle though, doesn't she?
Yeah, definitely.
I'll save that thought. Ariana Grande, what did we think?
I thought she did an amazing job. I was so impressed with her.
She was so good.
She's incredible.
Every time she was on screen, I flipping cried.
Yeah, she was so good. Because she's good in the first one. She's really good in the first one. And in the first one, I really liked how she really lent into the comedy of it. Like she's
funny, isn't she?
She's funny, yeah. And she's really completely dedicated to like bringing out that comedic element of it. And the second one, she's just she balances the comedy and the darkness of it so well. Like it's just incredibly well done. I was really blown away really by her performance. She's just...
There's a scene where they fight, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah, that's really well done. That's good.
And Fiyero turns up, doesn't he, to escape with Elphaba. And there's a bit where she's talking to the soldiers, isn't she? And I can't remember. She's like pleading for his life or something, and she shouts something like, "Well, it's because he loves her." And even that line, I was like, how have you delivered that line so sincerely to the point that it made me cry? I was like, he does love her. And even though I hadn't particularly believed it up until that point, I was like, but now she said it, I'm totally on board. And actually, I bought that more than I bought the chemistry between Fiyero and Elphaba. It was at that point I was like, oh my god, he really does love her. Like, I totally bought it just because she shouted it, because she's so convincing. Like, she's such a good actress.
Yeah, she was great. I really like that fighting scene as well. It was it's so it's just so witty, like in a sort of funny way. You don't really see a lot of. It's almost kind of slapstick in this just really well done way.
And they needed it as well, because it is sad.
Yeah.
It's dark and sad the whole way through. You definitely need some comedic relief.
And her commitment to be just sort of like so dorky basically just makes it, like when she's swirling that wand around, it's just so fun. Like she just makes it, like, that would have been so weird with someone who wasn't as committed to making it funny as she was. So she just and she sort of does it. She's got this great way of doing comedy where she is willing to appear like awkward and dorky, which makes it funnier. So like she's not trying to make it funny herself. She like really commits to the way that the humour needs to be. She and Cynthia have really good chemistry, I think, for that.
They
just do in general.
Really good chemistry.
And then her acting in what's the final? Is it For Good, where the final kind of scene?
Yeah.
It's just so good.
Yeah.
Like, I cried in this one. I didn't cry in the first one.
Not going to be able to talk about that scene very much because I did find it quite upsetting and like upsetting beyond the film as well. Like, I don't know, just kind of a final goodbye between friends. I did find it really hard. I definitely have mixed feelings about the whole thing because some elements of it I thought was so good that, yeah, I almost feel like if I rewatch it I might well end up still loving it. Once I've got over the fact that it all is quite quick and happens quite quickly. Fiyero as well. I did struggle to feel like they had chemistry, and I don't know whether that's because the chemistry between Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo is so good. Actually, Fiyero felt like a bit of a go away. Yeah. We don't need you, man. Get out of this.
Yeah, he works best as like Glinda's trophy husband, basically. That was his
comedic other half. Yeah.
Yeah. That was it was, which makes sense because in the book their relationship doesn't happen like that at all. It's very different.
Built over a much longer time period as well, so it feels a little insta love in the musical film. And their number where they sing, I was like, what is happening? Because they've obviously tried to keep it, is it even PG-13 or is it like, because at one point they're singing and then Cynthia Erivo's putting like more clothes back on and I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be about to consummate this relationship, and Cynthia Erivo's like putting more and more layers on. I was like, well, this isn't hot at all.
There's funny reviews about that.
Is there?
Yeah, on Letterboxd, you should look at them.
I'm gonna have to look some up. Luckily that is a fairly short bit, and actually it really does centre on their friendship, which is the important chemistry to have, I guess. They were definitely cast well. And then Nessa, Bock and the Wizard, they were also like really tiny characters in this, and I don't know how much time is supposed to have passed.
A year. I looked this up during the film because I was also very confused.
And Nessa Rose has had like a complete flip in character.
In the book it's like 12 years or something or more. So the change so her, a lot of that makes more sense in the book, so it's been like a lot longer. I don't know why.
Suddenly this like dictator.
Yeah, I guess in the musical they did it like that because it's very hard costume-wise to make.
Well, and that's how musicals work. Like stuff, you just accept it because it's a musical, and that's fine, and that's how time shifts a lot in a musical. But it just becomes a bit more stark on the screen where you're like, how has this happened? And Bock's some sort of like, I don't know, is he? I couldn't even work out if he's her other half or whether he's just her manservant. I was really confused by the whole thing.
I think the thing was that she wanted that, but he didn't, and then she basically gave him a job that he couldn't refuse.
Yeah,
because
and then
she
he couldn't
wants
leave.
to keep him around, basically. Yeah.
Yikes.
Very sad.
Yeah, it is sad. And then
it's PG. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
So that would be why.
Very PG. I love that you like the film. Would you go see the stage musical now?
Probably not, to be honest.
No,
I feel like I've seen it.
So good.
I think the film's really good. Like I think they're worth watching, and I just feel like Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande do an amazing job. So I just don't really. They've made it very difficult for other people.
To
fill it. I would say
fill their boots. Yeah, definitely.
So. Yeah, I probably wouldn't, because if I was in next time I'm in London, there's many other musicals that I would see first.
Yeah, it is very good, and the staging is very, very cool. They have the TikTok dragon is obviously a huge thing in the book, and I read reviews that they did keep making slightly weird references to it in the film. They kept, every time they mentioned the time, they were, I can't remember the phrasing they used, but it was something
just a clock tick.
Just a clock tick. And in the stage production, the time dragon he looms over the stage the whole time, so it's a bit more obvious. And obviously in the book, it's a big deal. So.
Oh, okay. He's not in the film at all. I don't think.
No.
I don't think.
No, he's not.
Also, that was really funny because they don't say that at all in the first half.
No.
The first film.
I've read a lot of reviews that are like, drink for every time they mention it.
Yeah. It's very odd. So yeah, I think if they'd made more time pass, I think it would have made a lot more sense. That's the
right.
my main criticism of the film, I think. Yeah,
The
sorry.
book.
Anyway, book.
I'm going to do a quick, because everything's different, so I'm going to try and rattle through we'll concentrate on a few of these, but I'm just going to rattle through the main changes. But
Nice
it
one, thank
definitely, in the first episode that we did, like you said, the main beats are there. She goes to Shiz University. They've changed some bits. You get to know her childhood. She gets pissed off at the wizard because of the animals, and she goes to visit him, and that's what happens in the first film as well. It takes a total shift in the second half. So Elphaba is Glinda is never in a relationship with Fiyero. They don't see each other that way whatsoever in the book. Fiyero is married, so he's from the Vincus, where they get married in childhood, right? So he's been married since he was a child. And he has an affair with Elphaba. So Elphaba goes to see the wizard in the first part. She decides not to go back to Shiz University, and then she's living undercover in a way in the Emerald City. Fiyero finds her, and they have this very complex relationship, affair, and ultimately he dies. So that's very sad. That happens in the first half of the book, I think, where Fiyero is killed by what are they called? The guards? Can't remember now. Gale Force. Oh, I think that's quite funny. Yeah, and they murder him. Elphaba is very politically active. She is, essentially in a terrorist organisation, right? They're trying to murder the wizard, and she goes to murder Madame Morrible and can't go through with it, and this is the same night that Fiyero is then murdered as well. Lear? I wasn't to roll my R. That's not how they did it in the audiobook. Lear.
Yeah, Lear. Yeah.
Who is a child of ambiguous parentage, but I think we're led to believe that he's Elphaba and Fiero's son. Is in the book. He's not in the film at all. Elphaba also goes, after Fiero's murdered, she also ends up in a convent for 7 years. Again, that doesn't happen in the film. And when she leaves the convent, she goes on a journey to Fiero's castle, which is in the film, but she's going there to meet his wife, and it's almost like a redemption story where she's going to go and apologise and tell her everything that's gone on, and that's basically the second half of the book. That is the major plot point, is that it's her journey to go and meet Fiero's family. She's not magical. She doesn't have any talent for sorcery, really. She becomes a witch at some
She kind of has what Nessa has in the film, where she can do it a bit.
Yeah, but she's not very good at it. And she, on this journey, at some point, does she meet an elephant that turns her into a witch? I got quite confused.
Oh, I don't remember. This book is chaotic. I don't
Some magical elephant
that I
that
don't
is
remember.
you're now a witch, and then she gives her some crows. Okay, so she's
Oh,
not.
yeah,
that's
right.
how she becomes a witch. Is the elephant turns her into one.
Yeah, it's chaos.
The Grimory is in Fiero's attic in this castle. I think she finds it.
And she doesn't know what it is.
She doesn't know what
It's
it
not
is.
significant.
Can she read bits of it, like you said, like Nessa Rose in the
Yeah.
film? She can read bits of it, but not really. Yeah, she doesn't show any talent for sorcery, really, but she can communicate with the animals, and they kind of follow her around, so bees, a dog, Chistery, the snow monkey, who does make an appearance in the film, and she ultimately meets a bleak, abrupt death, and it's very anti-fairy tale and not like the musical at all, so it doesn't have a happy ending. But I'd say the build-up to all of that is a lot more intentional, and her turning to the dark side and becoming more and more enraged and anti-government and plotting to kill people is more believable in the book.
Yes, I think mostly because it happens over 20 years or something, right?
Yes,
Like
I keep saying how old she is. She's so old, yet she's in her 30s. So I'm like, thank you very much. Not that old. She's so old, such an old witch. Yes, and the whole thing with Fiyero, you can see how this resentment and rage is building throughout it. Yeah, it's a bizarre old book. Her son, like, Lear, is relentlessly bullied by, I mean, Fiero's children, right? I'm just trying to work out the relationship there. They're Fiero's children, and they're awful to him. Like, there's bullying, and then there's bullying, and some of the things they do to him are truly horrendous. Like, they lock him in a well, don't they? And then leave him there, playing hide and seek, and just make him go down it and leave him there and essentially drown him because the water levels rise. I was like, oh my God, this is horrendous. Yeah, but it all adds up to Elphaba becoming how she becomes. Yeah, so it's a long old slog, that book. I've read it 3 times now. Have I mentioned I've read it 3 times? And yeah, my rating has not increased. I haven't decreased it either, but I haven't got above a 3 stars for it because it is.
No, neither.
It's a long old.
I just find it. There's something about the writing. I feel like it's just chaotic. Like the way that the characters talk, the plot is very chaotic to begin with. Then the way the characters talk, the way that they react to things, it just feels chaotic sometimes. And he does this thing. He does it multiple times, where something very dramatic happens, like someone dies, and it's so quickly mentioned, and then like that boy, one of Fiore's sons dies. I can't remember his name.
He's the one that was bullying Lear. She like
Manic, right?
Yes. She makes an icicle fall on his head or something.
Yeah, a couple of pages later, it's like, oh, she was sad about Manic's death. I'm like, what? And I had to go back and realise that he died. He does it multiple times where, like, something very dramatic happens.
Yeah, and I was listening to it, 3 times the speed, and like you say, I'd be like, when did he die? And I'd have to rewind it and be like, oh, okay, for that like one sentence on that page, she killed him.
It's almost like a classic. Classics sometimes do that.
Yeah.
And then you've got to, like, go back and...
Yeah.
It's very...
Check what happened.
God... The other thing that he does, which drives me nuts, he talks about like genitals and stuff so much, like it's so crude.
Yeah, I can't remember if we mentioned that in the first.
Yeah,
episode.
We definitely did because I complained about it because I find the first chapter really disturbing, where when Elphaba born and they talk weirdly about her genitals for a long time. And I'm like, why am I reading this? Like, what is going on?
Yeah,
it's chaos. I don't understand why he's doing it. I've never read anything like it where it's. I'm like, why is this being mentioned? Like, why are you talking about nipples randomly? You're like, what's happening? It feels almost like a Terry Pratchett, how Terry Pratchett does that sometimes is like a bit. He does this thing where he'll describe women in the stupid way that men who write science fiction do, like as a, it's like that, but it's
but
real.
It's sincere. It's quite
so
disturbing.
Weird. What is this? So thank God that's gone from the film and the musical.
Can you imagine if it hadn't?
I was going to say, now that you've so nicely summarised the book, the reason in the musical, I guess, in the film, that Elphaba isn't very much in the second one, is that she, in the book, is living most of the time in a castle with people who aren't even in the film, which is Fiore's family. So that's the main part. The only characters out of the whole people that she lives with are Nanny is there, who's the bear that looks after her, and Jisru, the monkey, and then everyone else is not in the film at all. So the house where she lives in doesn't exist in the film, so it doesn't really make any... her whole sort of context is gone, so that's why she doesn't make much of an appearance. Where Glinda's is only a little bit different. It's just that her husband is political, and so the context of how she's living is a little bit shifted, but her purpose is the same, basically.
I guess Elphaba's a bit of a side character in the second film because she's in hiding, and like we've said, that actually isn't the interesting bit.
Yeah.
Which is why the book is kind of a bit dull in the second half, because that is what it follows. It's her in this castle, like, and with Fiera's wife refusing to hear her story, so she doesn't even get her redemption arc because Fiera's wife won't hear it anyway. So it's bizarre. But I do feel like the build up of why she does what she does ultimately, and her being killed by Dorothy, it makes more sense in the book. Like, there's a lot that's happened, quite traumatic stuff that happens to her. I'm like, yeah, okay, you might feel a bit murderous by this point. What was I gonna look at my notes?
I like it because she's not very magical, as you say, and so to make the monkeys fly, she like sews the wings on in a very like Stephen King. It's disgusting.
Yeah, trying to get that to work. Yeah, which feels more, because I couldn't remember in the musical where if Chistery became like friends with her, let's put it that way, because in the book obviously she finds him and then she's teaching him to talk and then she's sewing the wings on, which is slightly disturbing. Whereas in the film, I was quite happy to reach the point in the film where actually the monkeys went and joined her, because I couldn't remember how in The Wizard of Oz she ends up with all the flying monkeys. And essentially she bargains with the wizard, doesn't she, to set them free, and so when she goes into hiding, then they go with her to help her. Because Chistery's quite a sweet little thing in the book, so it's nice to see them together in the film. Fiero, let's touch on their relationship a bit more. So we talked about the fact that he's married from a very young age, and they can't remember, how do they end up having an affair? He finds her, doesn't he, in the Emerald City?
Yeah, she's hiding out in the Emerald City.
Yeah.
And then he's visiting the Emerald City, so he ends up doing that quite a bit and staying with her. I actually really liked that bit's quite short. It's the beginning of the second half of the book. I think it's really well done. I really liked that.
I really liked it.
Yeah, there's a good complexity with his relationship with his family, because he's basically had a childhood arranged marriage, so he and his wife are like just sort of living out their life, like, right, this kind of sucks. Yeah, his relationship with Elphaba, his relationship with his wife's sort of take on things, I think that's all very well done and makes a lot of sense, surprisingly.
Yeah. Yes. After that, less so. I feel like his death's quite shocking in the book as well, so she does, it's all culminating in this one night. I feel like, I can't remember what the celebration is, but it feels like Christmas, right? So Christmas Day is coming, and they've obviously all plotted to murder various people, important people. And Elphaba's set to murder Madame Morrible, but some children happen to be there, so she can't go through with it. And she does warn Fiero, don't go back to my little hideout, and he doesn't listen. But yeah, I was shocked though when he was killed. Because it is only halfway through the book. I was like, oh, well, there's the love of her life gone then. In the film, it does kind of go down the same route. Like, they're using the same plot point to enrage Elphaba. Like, she thinks Fiero's been killed, right? I'm intrigued to hear what you thought about Fiero's transformation in the film.
Yeah, so in the film, if you can't remember, he becomes a scarecrow. Yeah, I quite liked how they gave context to those completely random, because in the book the Tin Man and the Scarecrow they couldn't be more random. Like, they just exist.
They don't explain it, do they?
It's not explained. They don't make sense in the world. Like, it's not a thing.
No,
there's no real magic. Elphaba and Nessie aren't actually magic, so it doesn't even make sense that someone turned them in. They just randomly are. So yeah, they don't make any sense. The lion is still the one that Elphaba rescued from Shiz, but that's the only one. So I quite liked that element of the film where I liked the way they tied it back to Wizard of Oz in a cool way. Like, I was like, oh, he's going to become the Scarecrow. Like, I quite liked that.
And Box the Tin Man, obviously, which I do think his transformation made sense. Although I do feel like he really disliked Elphaba, and I couldn't really understand why. So she turns up in the first half of the book, when Nessa Rose is like basically keeping Bob prisoner and reads a spell from the Grimoire that goes wrong, and in order to save him, Elphaba turns him into the Tin Man. But even before that point, he's acting like he really truly believes all the stuff that Madame Morrible is saying about her, and I'm not sure I quite bought that.
I thought it was to do with Glinda, because Glinda and Elphaba are very close. And I thought it started at university, because at university Glinda basically she becomes really good friends with Elphaba and is kind of she stops being friends with all of the other people.
Yeah.
Because Elfie and Glinda have a proper connection, I would say, whereas Glinda doesn't really have much of a connection with everyone else, really. They just really like her. I thought it started from there, from university days, because he's a huge thing for Glinda, and she has this sort of proper connection with Elfie and not with anyone else. That's what I thought.
So maybe there's distance that's happened there, and it is supposed to be a year on, so perhaps. Going back to Fiero and the Scarecrow, there is a mention of the Scarecrow in Wicked, and her thinking... So she knows that Dorothy's on her way with her little posse of strange friends, and she mentions hoping... She has this, like, dream of the Scarecrow being Fiero. And that happens in the book, is that she's hoping in some way that maybe the Scarecrow is Fiero and that he's still alive. So I do wonder if they did pick that kind of plot point up from the book and run with it. I couldn't quite work out where they went at the end. Where did they go? Through a tunnel?
Oh, I don't know, to Dune.
To Dune, yeah. Everybody goes to Dune with the sandworms.
Yeah, I saw a funny review that was like Fiero and Elfie to appear in Dune Part 3.
Go through a tunnel. I mean, it doesn't look like there's anything the other side, so good luck to them. But it was
I thought they were at the Wizard's World, but
maybe he gets her in a balloon.
I don't know.
That's so confusing.
Who
cares? It's a musical. We didn't know what was going on.
Because there are in the book there are other worlds, because the wizard, and also in the film, because the wizard comes from another world. He is not from Oz, and Kansas is also another world. Like Oz is completely separate from. It's not on Earth, I guess, because Dorothy comes from the US.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck is that? Like, it's a completely different world. And the wizard comes from a third world, I would assume. So it's a bit Narnia-like almost, where everything's kind of converging. So I guess they were in, I don't know, maybe it was like in Narnia where there's that tree that takes you to every world. I don't know, maybe that was the tree. Who knows?
So did you prefer the ending of the book or the film?
Probably the film slightly, only because it's nice that they end up together. Can I say one major difference? Maybe you didn't mention it. The wizard is magic in the book.
Oh God, I can't remember.
Yeah, the wizard is magic, and Elfie and Nessa are a bit magic, but he genuinely is much more powerful than everyone else. So, and he's looking for the Grimoire, like that's missing, and it belongs to him. And he was sent. So the Grimoire is from his world, and it's for some reason it's in Oz. And what he's actually doing is looking for the Grimoire. So, like, the whole point of the musical where, like, the wizard is a fraud, he's not a fraud. He's actually, like, much more magical than Elfie. And, like, in the final scene in their kind of final confrontation scene, he's like, well, you're not a very good witch. And she's like, oh. Like, it's so fundamentally different. Like, he's not fraudulent.
The Grimoire, when she finds it, I think she asks, like, where it came from. They're like, oh, some man left it here ages ago. I assume it was the wizard. I forgot about that. He's trying to find it again.
And he's like, you can't read it because it's like, it's our language.
Yeah, the language
So
from his
it belongs
world.
to him. It's a really different take. So his character is a completely different person in the book.
He's her father in the book as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
But he leaves, doesn't he? So at the end of the film, he leaves, which again is quite abrupt. Glinda tells him to go, and he's like, okay. But he leaves in the book as well. I can't quite remember how he leaves in the book.
I think he just leaves because he's got the Grimoire, I think, or
Does
something.
He get the Grimoire?
I think he goes back to his world. I think he's over
There's
it.
definitely an element of him finding out that Elphaba's his daughter and that he's...
Yeah, something... Dorothy brings him the bottle.
Yes.
So in the film, he finds out because Glinda brings it to him, and in the film... So in the book, I keep saying that. In the book, she can't get the broomstick because it's burnt, so she brings the bottle, and then he's like, oh no.
Realises what he's done.
There's only one green bottle in the world, and it's mine. Or something. So crazy.
Dear.
And then he just nips off, I think, back to his world.
Hops back in his balloon and goes back again. Yeah. I think the ending worked for the musical. I feel like the musical had to end that way. You can't end a musical with her actually dying because she's had water thrown at her. I did think in the film it was slightly strangely done, and I'm not really sure why they chose to do it that way. So they've got this really emotional scene before where Elphaba and Glinda are saying goodbye to each other, and then Glinda's like listening or peeking through the door, isn't she? And you just see the shadow of Dorothy throwing water over Elphaba. It was totally bizarre. Now in the stage production, she gets water thrown at her, and obviously on stage, like, she can drop through a trapdoor, and that's what happens, is that she disappears. I don't know why they chose to do it like that in the film. It felt very camp and weird.
Well, I think I quite liked it. So they're tricking Dorothy so that she thinks she's killed. Because the thing is that she's not... Water is fine, I think, right? She's actually fine. That's just like a myth that's been spread by Madame Morrible or whatever. So they decide to take advantage of that, and then she somehow, I don't know, trapdoors it or whatever. In the original film of The Wizard of Oz, she does kind of shrink down through her clothes, I think. Because I'm pretty sure her clothes stay
melting.
there. Yeah, so I could see how that could be done, I guess.
Yeah.
Because Dorothy's a fucking idiot. She's just...
Just made me laugh that it was done off camera. I thought it was really funny.
I liked it only because I think it keeps it more... Everyone has a strong idea about what's going to happen, I guess. And I just liked the way it focused. I just thought Glinda did an amazing job, or Ariana Grande did an amazing job. So she acted that scene really well. So it made it very emotional, I think.
Yeah, because in the book, her dress sets alight, or something sets alight, doesn't it? And that's why that's why Dorothy throws water at her. She definitely can't get wet in the book. And yeah, she just dies, which is, it's very tragic. No reunion, no redemption, no wandering off into Dune.
No Dune Part 3.
So I think I probably know the answer to this. Which did you prefer, book or the film?
The films. I think the book makes more sense, I think, as a story, but I don't think it's a very good book. If you are someone who loves the musical and there are all the elements of the musical and the film that don't make a lot of sense character-wise. So if you are interested to figure out what the fuck is actually going on, I think the book is really useful. I don't think it's a very good book outside of the context of it being the background for Wicked. So I also would give it like a 3. So I think the films are better. And if you want to just like experience the world, I would watch the films, actually. I think they're the best. She says, having never seen a musical. I think the films are really good. And I think the book is... I'm neutral. I think it's just a chaotic mess in a lot of places, to be honest.
Yeah. I didn't dislike the book, but I do like the musical much more, and I much preferred the films. And me, I really liked the first film, and I liked the fact that they really fleshed out the Shiz University bit. I really enjoyed that part. So yeah, I'm definitely a movie over the book, and I'm not planning to read. There's loads of them, isn't there? Loads of Gregory parts in this.
I was reading the ebook,
Ozverse.
And it started off. It finished, and then the next chapter I didn't realise was the beginning of the next book. And I was like, what the fuck's going on?
Start reading the next one.
And then I was like, oh no, get out of it, I'm not reading this.
I feel like there's one about the lion as well.
Yep, you're right. And then he's got one about Galinda coming up.
Oh really? Cash in.
Yeah, so he stopped writing them a while ago. 10 plus years ago, and he started again recently for reasons unknown.
Yeah, for reasons unclear.
We worked out in the last episode how much he was worth. It was a fuck ton.
Yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah, he's worth a lot of money, definitely.
I think my closing comment that I want to make is that the book is very helpful for her kid because it has someone with a disability and it's a musical adaptation. So it's the nicest
well
thing
done.
To say
I cannot include it because I finished it the first time round, so it's a reread. So I can't include it for a little while. I have to read quite a few before I can include that one. But yeah, it's I'm going to rewatch it. I think I'll enjoy it more
Probably.
the second time round. I am not going to read the book again. I could finally get rid of my copy.
The fourth time.
For the fourth time.
It's probably it's probably one of your most frequently read books.
Yeah, it probably is. Probably the book I've read the most. And it's unbelievable because I didn't even want to, didn't even enjoy it. And it was all for the pod. On that note, let's end it there. Thanks everyone for watching. No one's watching. Thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you.
We'll be back soon. There's loads of ways you can get in touch. Please do share your thoughts on Wicked. You can get in touch with us on email. We're with the Bookcast Club at outlook.com, on Instagram or TikTok where we're at Bookcast Club. You can sign up to our newsletter or you can join our Patreon for just £2 a month. But thank you for listening. One more episode to go in this season. We'll speak to you very soon. Bye.
Bye.